Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to a late, almost morning edition of the Missing Wolves post-game live stream podcast that I have decided we're never going to pick an actual name for this because it's much more fun for people to try and introduce it when they don't know than actually pick a name for it. But I'm your host, Andrew Dukowitz from ZoneCoverage, and we have Nadine with me today from GopherHole. Technically, I think she's one of the many bosses I have because I technically am employed by Nadine to write on Gophers women's basketball. But Nadine, how are you?
I'm doing well and extra amazing after the end of that game.
I mean, let's just talk about it. Anthony Edwards, sensational. I think everyone that was expecting him to come in this year and look better, that was better than I thought he would look. What was your takeaway from just Ant tonight?
I mean, it was crazy and clutch how. Oh, sorry. I think we just got some sound back there. You can hear me okay now?
Yep, I can hear you. You're just fine.
Okay. Yeah, how clutch he was and his confidence. And I think everyone was really expecting him to have great conditioning and everything, but like you just can't stop him. It was like you can't let him go in the paint. You can't let him go mid-range. You can't let him go from the three. Like this guy, I mean, he's got to be MVP at some point.
I mean, 41 points. That's a franchise record for an opening night. He played 39 minutes, was +9 in his 39 minutes, 50% from the field, only 28 shots to get those 41. Like you said, he just hitting dagger threes. He was getting to the lane at will. He missed like a couple bunnies that I would assume a couple months from now he's making. Again, like I assumed he would be really good this year, that he would be coming in and just looking different. But this was so far beyond my expectations of just what Ant was going to be from game one, which I mean, if he's going to play like this every night, the sky's kind of the limit, isn't it?
I mean, you could also see too, because I hear from people all the time that the Timberwolves are like their favorite team that's not their team, you know? And you
Mm-hmm.
see it with this game tonight. It's exactly, I mean, I have like chills. I'm excited. It's game 1 of 81, you know? It doesn't matter. It's really not that important, but it's like they play like it does. I mean, I had people just texting me freaking out. And I'm like, it's game 1 and it's odd because with 5 minutes left, they still didn't have the lead yet until like what 4:30 or so.
Yeah.
And I just had this odd confidence as a Minnesota sports fan that you never feel, where I was like, they got this. I feel like they got this. Like normally your team can be up by 30 and until there's like 5 seconds left, you're still worried, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's being a Minnesota sports fan, right? You're waiting for the missed kick. You're waiting for the costly turnover. And boy, did we almost have it a few times. Jaden hucks that ball to Klingon on a fast break, throws the ball out of bounds with like 3 minutes left. It had kind of all the makings, but just like you said, I wasn't really concerned. I just had this feeling like, oh, Ant's going to do this. Like they can't do anything with him. Eventually he's just going to take it over and he's going to win. Ren mentions in the chat here that just, you know, the Dante point guard experience from tonight. Boy, that went
harsh.
bad quick, didn't it? I mean, 6 turnovers for Dante. What was your overall impression of just the Dante point guard experience?
I mean, first of all, I think it's difficult. I mean, you're going in, your point guard, you're going in for Mike Conley. He's a legend. He's amazing. There's some jitters. It's a different team dealing with. But the thing that I will say, he did start out pretty strong and then had some issues. And I think we've seen from Finchy last year, he's not going to pull these guys. He's not going to make massive decisions and be, irrational like fans. He's going to stick with the plan. He knows how they play in practice and everything. But what I would like, I'm a glasses half full kind of gal, and I would love to talk about the young guys that stepped up. I mean, even like Bone Highlands, the amount of speed he brought in there. TJ's been fantastic. I mean, Jalen Clark, I think you and I have raved about him. I mean, when you got those guys to come in and give you that spark and that burst and that energy and the speed, holy cow, that's how you close out a game.
Yeah. And I mean, just on the point guard thing, I think tonight might have been an eye opener for just Wolves fans and some people in the media. Like, I'll be completely honest. If you would have told me Mike Conley would not start and would only play 12 minutes tonight, I wouldn't have believed it. Like, Mike has been so important to this team that I would have assumed he got hurt or something went catastrophically wrong that Mike is playing 12 minutes on opening night. But to be honest, he didn't look very good in his 12 minutes. Dante, he played 4 minutes in the second half after 16 in the first half. And he also, as soon as they started kind of sicking Drew Holiday on him and getting that pressure on him, Dante didn't look very good. But to your point, TJ brought the ball up. And I'm going to be honest, I was a little stressed out when he was doing it at first, but he did it really well, just attacking. And Bones Highland, a guy that, if Matt Haggard's in here from Please Understand podcast, I had kind of said, like, Bones will at some point this season have a role. I was not expecting him to have a role game one in the fourth quarter, but he played really well. Like, I was thoroughly impressed with Bones Highland, which, again, that's something I did not expect to say tonight. So it was really a weird game.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd see him at all. And the thing that was like, I think that it's so funny because I mean, reading Twitter feed, I would call you like the Rob Dillingham expert.
Yeah.
Like you followed him, and I'm sure in your feed you saw Rob, and like the whole thing that I don't think people understand is the fact that like here's a coach and a whole team of NBA coaches that see him every single day. And especially when you look at the fact if Mike's doing kind of a load management, if Dante didn't start well, and maybe Dante's he started well, but maybe they weren't as prepared for him, then could make adjustments at halftime, you know? But like the fact that Rob's not playing, what is that? Sorry, am I allowed to ask you questions too?
Yeah,
Like,
of course, by all means.
Because I was thinking about this whole time. I'm like, I wonder what the Duke would say about the whole Rob Dillingham thing, because people seem to be freaking out, but also it's like he's not ready, I don't think.
Cole says it here in the chat. I completely agree with him that like this would have been a really rough night for Rob. I think he needs some games where his confidence is going to be kind of at an all-time high, which maybe that's Denver next week. Maybe that's LA where they don't have kind of the guard pressure on Friday. But I think if just how they were defending, how they were getting after Dante, I think if Rob got put in tonight and had 4 turnovers, that would have been like the worst thing for a 19-year-old that's already kind of dealing with confidence issues from riding the bench last year. I also kind of, if I'm going to like put on my like analysis hat, like I think that's why maybe Mike didn't play as many minutes, is just, this team sucks to bring the ball up against. And when you have somebody like TJ who can just put his shoulder down and run people over, you have people like Ant who, I mean, his handle looked so good tonight that like, yeah, let Ant bring the ball up. But Rob, I really think, and again, to Cole's point here, mini sports fan also says it, I think Rob's going to have some moments this season. I think if they would have just thrown him in the third quarter tonight, it probably wouldn't have went really well. Unfortunately for him, which, I mean, what's kind of your take on it? I feel like they do have to kind of protect these young guys a little bit from being almost not embarrassed on a national scale, but like you got to protect them from like having their confidence shattered.
Yeah. And to Cole's point too, that like it's all about matchups too. And I think that fans often don't look at the actual matchup. It's like Ant could play amazing against so many people, and there are certain people you don't like, just like games, like some teams are always tough for you, and that's all matchup based. And that's exactly what it is. But also too, I mean, you got to look at it, and Rob hasn't had significant minutes really, and we really haven't seen what he can do against NBA players. He was obviously phenomenal in college. We traded up to get him. And one of the guys actually just said in his comment that he'll have his day, and I completely believe that. I think he's going to be a great player. I just don't know if it's right now. Sports fan.
I think Rob's going to have he's going to have a moment this season. I don't know I wrote about it this week for Zone Coverage, cheap plug, but like I still don't really know what he is. Like, he has this insane handle that like reminds me of Allen Iverson. He has this quick burst where he can get to the mid-range so fast. His finishing is better than, most people would probably expect. There's Matt. His finishing is better than most people like would expect, but at the same time, like, the turnovers is really tough when they're bad. His size can be a really big issue, especially against a team like tonight where like Drew Holiday would have been tough. But at some point he's gonna have to either show that he can be a more capable like NBA player, or it's just gonna pass him by, which unfortunately he's 19. We don't really have to find out the answer to that for another 2 or 3 years.
Exactly.
Cole brings up another question in the chat here talking about Naz Reid's defense. Cole, I would love to talk about Naz Reid's defense, but we do have ads to run because I need to pay my utilities. So first ad break. When we come back, Naz Reid's defense. We got you. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard, and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read, this time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. Huge shout out for Nate Pence and Isaac Davis sponsoring this going into the Wolves season as well, so that we can keep this rolling. I'll just be honest. I think I have different guests booked for every podcast all the way up until the beginning of December, which all local people, some from TV, some writers. Charlie Walton joining on after the Lakers game for Zone Coverage fans that really like his writing and coverage as well. Can't thank our sponsors enough, though. That's why it's possible. I am not going to ignore you, Cole. I promise you. But Sean brings up a good point here, just on Rob, before we move on to Naz's defense. What teams could Rob play against? Nadine, I'll let you take a crack at it first if you'd like.
You actually know me. I do not know all the teams. I know the Timberwolves and then the team that they play against. I am not the NBA expert.
Okay. So based off of that ringing endorsement, sorry for throwing you under the bus, Nadine, I would say Rob Rob is going to be, I think he's going to be fine, hopefully at some point in his career. But to start out, you need to pick teams that either have a smaller point guard or a point guard that can't pressure and just body him. So like the Pelicans come to mind, where Jordan Poole might get put on him. And if they don't put Jordan Poole on him, then Jordan Poole's on like Jaden. And that's a huge mismatch. I think there's teams like the Nuggets, as Ren mentions, where it's Jamal Murray or Christian Brown, which I don't think either of them can really keep up with his speed. And Brown's going to need to guard Ant or whoever is kind of the primary wing scorer. There will be teams that you're able to kind of put him out there against to get that confidence going. And again, it sounds weird, like talking about needing to get like a confidence boost for somebody that's making millions of dollars and is in the NBA. But like, these guys need to see that the process works for them to fully buy into it. And if you throw Rob out there and you say, hey, we need you to be we need you to be the kind of secondary guy off of Ant where you're going to get a kick out pass and just drive. We don't need you to, dribble the ball for 23 seconds and get your own shot. We need you to be more of an ancillary piece. If you're going to get a guy to believe that, he needs to see it work. And if you throw him out there tonight and he's being just bodied by Holiday or Jeremy Grant or Kamara gets him on a switch, it just could end badly really quick. And that's unfortunate. Okay, Naz Reid's defense.
Oh,
Nadine.
can I just add on
Of
to that
course,
too?
yeah.
The confidence thing, though, that's the thing. I think people are like, oh, they make millions of dollars, they've been a superstar, but like, I don't think people know the heat that these guys get either, and how much it can really get to you. I mean, when you're talking about, like, think about just us regular people. You don't get a lot, I get a lot, but like, just regular people, it gets to you, and it's a tiny, tiny fraction. And it does not matter how much money you make or what you've done. It's people are always looking for the next thing. They always want the next step, your next production. And people have I say that sports fans especially have a memory like a dog's. It's very short term. They don't know if you're going to like Walgreens across the street or if you're going away for weeks. Like, that's the memory loss. So, I mean, I think that is a huge part of it, though. And honestly, too, it beyond the confidence, it's like you don't want to fail out there. Like, it doesn't really matter about like treating him like a child and just catering to him. It's like, hey, we got to get the best opportunity to win, and if he's not, then you can't put him in.
Oh, exactly. And I will say sports media also has memories like a goldfish. My wife literally told me that we needed frozen pizzas while I was at the like baked good aisle at Cub the other day. And by the time I left the baked goods, had no clue what I was looking for next. So it's just a thing in sports where we just all have terrible memories.
You're just blinded by baked goods. You're just like, wow,
Oh,
these baked
man.
goods look amazing.
Let me tell you, the caramel apple pie that I have been snacking on has been delightful. But okay, Cole has been waiting patiently for minutes now. Naz Reid's defense. I mean, I'll expand it to just Naz Reid as a whole tonight. What were kind of your thoughts?
I don't think it obviously wasn't a great game for him. Like, it just, I think that like also Nas has a lot of pressure. He's Nas Reid. He's two words. Everyone loves him. Everyone expects that he's going to play the best game ever. You're not going to play the best game when you have 80 plus games a year, So it's just one of those things. And I think that his playing time and, taking him out and whatever, like, I think that reflected it. So it's like, this is one of those things too, where we can't overreact. It's day one, it's game one. You look at the body of work, but like he didn't have a good day today.
Yeah. And I when he was struggling today, I thought back a couple times to just, we got to talk to Ant before they flew out to Portland, and Nas, like, we asked him about like Nas and Jaden and how they've been looking so far in camp. And Ant was just kind of like, Nas had something happen with his family. He's not in the best shape right now, but he's working himself back into it. I think, that's tough. And I'm not giving a pass for Nas because he gets rewarded with a really big contract. He does need to contribute, but I'd be a lot more worried if Nas's defense is like this. If it's still like this in February, I think you have a massive problem on this roster. I think if Nas through the rest of October and the first couple weeks in November, I'm not going to hold him to anything crazy or any sort of standard, just because like the dude had a really shitty summer.
I think that people look at these guys like they're robots and they can just perform. And I'm sure everyone listening to this podcast, but just in case you didn't know, he lost his sister. She's murdered. I can't imagine that. Like, even just watching starting five right now, I'm watching the part where Jaylen Brown's mom got his house broken into. Like, that sticks with him. Like, that is your loved one. That is your flesh and blood. Like, that goes on for a while in your mind and in your head. And especially for him, that's like the conditioning this summer. And you can't expect someone to just be, like, I remember when like Brett Favre, he lost his dad and then he had like the game of his life. That's not normal. It's normal to grieve and it's normal to not be completely there.
And Cole mentions too that it did look like he was pouting a little bit on the sideline. What I will say, just from knowing Naz Reid a little bit and being around him the last year, that dude holds himself to a ridiculous standard. I think it's probably less like he was pouting about like not playing or what was going on. And probably more that he was just super frustrating that he was having a bad game, because, you know, if he has a better game, if he doesn't let Advia drive past him half a dozen times tonight, this game doesn't have to come down to the fourth quarter. And Nas is a very smart dude. He gets and understands that stuff. And again, like, he holds himself to a ridiculous standard. He thinks he's a starting player. He like really believes that he should be like in that conversation closing games. And tonight you're just sitting on the bench for a very long stretch in the fourth quarter until Rudy eventually fouled out. Again, if these things are carrying on into the new year, I raise the alarm bell, because then you have a $24 million player off the bench that's has a bad attitude on the bench and that is not playing consistently. But like right now, I'm willing to give him some grace. Ren asks in the chat, who is he practicing again with, which actually leads into another Ren chat. He hung out with Jaden a lot this summer, which Jaden looked awesome, other than the couple turnovers in the fourth. Nadine, what's your Jaden take tonight? I know
Oh
you're a
my
big Jaden
gosh.
fan.
I mean, I just feel like Jaden is just scratching the surface. I feel like he's going to get better and better. I mean, when you saw his poster, when you see him, like, he's so quiet, and like his whole issue, I think, has been like lack of maturity, lack of experience, tempers, all that kind of
Broken
stuff.
hands.
Yes, that is the number one. Most of us don't have that kind of temper, but he is young, and I like that he's passionate. But yeah, I absolutely loved what I saw from him today, and I feel like Tim Conley has protected him this whole time, because I feel like we could have gotten like a Katie, we could have gotten other players, but we'd had to give him Jaden, and it's like I just feel like he and Ant and Nas are the nucleus, and they just have a brotherhood, and it's so great. But B, I just think that he is just going to get better and better.
It's year 6. Like, this is where players make that leap to where maybe he's not an all-star, but he's this third best player on the team. And if Jaden's your third best player, that helps and solves a lot of problems. I will say that dunk that he had might be the dunk of the year. I don't know what could top that. And that is insane. That like first game, first half, Jaden might have just like set the standard for the entire year.
Yes. Like he just totally, like, he's gonna be on everyone's feed tomorrow instead of like one of Ant's posters. It's crazy.
Yeah. I
I go ahead.
No, go for it, Nadine.
Oh no, if you still want to talk about that, but I also didn't want to forget to talk about the refs too, because I am not that person. People complain about it all the time, but that was some questionable calls, and I feel like they kind of started just letting them play at the end. And are we? What did Phil ask? Are we able to talk about the SIRS in the second half? Is that the refs?
Is Fee able to talk about the refs in the second half tonight? Which I will say, I don't think Nafisa Collier is going to come light a second league on fire this winter, but she might be the person to go ask about ridiculous physicality and not making sense.
Yes, absolutely. So it wasn't just me, and it wasn't just overreacting people. It was some really bad, like the one on Ant, for example. It was like, are you serious? Like, that was just like good D, and it was like there. I mean, you didn't see a lot, and also was it Bones that had the offensive charge, where that was
Yeah.
like,
There was a Rudy one too, where like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, did he have his hand on somebody's waist? Sure, but that never gets called. Like, everyone
Yeah.
puts a hand on the waist when they're setting a screen. Like, it's just, and I'll be honest, I didn't think it was particularly great for Portland either. Like, they had some pretty ridiculous calls in the first half. I want to
Mhm.
say they had like 4 straight fouls midway through the third quarter, where it was just like every Wolves possession they had one. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, again, the caveat I will give is that I have been watching the WNBA for the past 5 months, and the officiating tonight was so good compared to
Amazing.
the absolute train wreck that is WNBA officiating. There wasn't any technicals called where the wrong person is shooting the free throw. The refs appeared to know the rules, which is a really big improvement over what I have been watching. But yeah,
No one
it'll
broke
be
any bones.
interesting to
Like no
hear.
bones were broken.
No bones were broken. No, whoa. You get a brand new appreciation for NBA refs when you have to watch that. But yeah,
Mm.
it's I feel like that's just basketball right now. The refs are just if I'm going to take the ref side, I think the game moves so fast now, and they haven't really done anything over the last 30 years to help the refs out to make up for the pace, the speed, the spacing that every team has. And then you have these terrible calls and you get one challenge, and if you get it wrong, you're done. So robot ref, get officials that are like replaying it right away and just blow a whistle if it's wrong. Like
Mhm.
there has to be a better way, but I agree with you. The officiating was a tough one tonight.
It really was. Yeah. By the way, are we allowed to talk about you at all?
Who, me? Sure. If you
Yeah.
want to talk about me. Oh
I mean,
God.
you jumped right into the game, but especially after we came back from commercial break. First of all, I'd like to comment that your deck is beautiful. They did a
Thank
fantastic
you.
job. Yep. And
Firehawk
secondly,
construction. Mm-hmm.
yes, Firehawk, you did a phenomenal job. I noticed that right away. It was like, oh, this is an expensive deck, isn't it? It's like nice.
Was not that expensive, just a really good contractor.
Yeah. That's even better for people to know. I love that. And secondly, do all your people know your rise to fame? Because I know you.
Hopefully not. I will say a very surreal thing happened about a week ago. The lovely people that run WNBA lead are going to be doing a feature story on me over the winter here on just kind of my path and how I have somehow weaseled my way into the sports media culture to where I'm at this point now.
So for everyone listening, you watch Andrew's podcast probably every time, and because he's modest like this, the weaseling way, I just need to let you know I met the Duke last summer at like a little media party, and I was like, oh yeah, like you meet somebody, you're like, I'll follow you on Twitter, follow back, and I look at my phone, and I'm like, how the f do you have 200 followers? Like, who are you? Are you like, what are you doing? You're in sports? Like, this is embarrassing. And so anyways, all of a sudden this is not weaseling your way in. This guy has outworked, out contented everything, where it's like it's for that super fan that wants to see every practice, wants to see every interview, wants to see every quote, whatever. He goes to absolutely everything that I cannot even imagine, and I don't know how you're not asleep right now. It's like past midnight. Like this is my peak time, where, as you can tell, I'm like wide awake. But like, he's also a nurse and he saves lives, and I don't know how you're doing it. And I do know part of it is you have an amazing wife, but also you
Yes.
have just hustled and done phenomenally. And I just feel like your people need to know this, since you'll never tell them that.
Well, I appreciate it. I've gotten a lot of help along the way, including you, Nadine. And I do have an amazing wife. And, this whole media thing has been just a bet that there's a lot of people out there like me that want to watch, practice clips and want to see more interview stuff and want to know what players are like behind the scenes. And thankfully, that bet kind of worked out. A lot of people are sports sickos like I am and want to see what Rob Dillingham's jump shot looks like every 3 to 4 days. So I
Or Aunt
appreciate
being
that, though.
last at
You are too
practice.
kind.
You're very welcome. But yeah, I think especially with this team too, because the personalities are so great. We don't have
Yeah.
anybody that's like like when you got Anthony Edwards leading. First of all, you could just have a reality show. Like, he needs to do like what Stud Buds did. Like, he needs to like just have like 48 hours on him, like watching. People would be, it would probably break the internet. But you got that, but then you've got all the other personalities that are so great. So that's what people want to know more, and you're just doing such a great job, and I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. I will say this team does. I have been the president of the Jaden McDaniels needs more press coverage because he's secretly hilarious fan club. for the last 18 months of my life. And I am so glad that I've been able to at least get some of Jaden's personality out there, because that guy is legitimately hilarious all the time. I do want to pivot back away
Yeah.
from Andrew praise because I'm getting sweaty, and back to basketball. And we'll finish with this one from Ren. Was
That's
just,
a good question.
do you feel like this was a good sign that the Wolves can pull out a close win, or do you feel like it was kind of a bad sign that Portland made the game so close to begin with?
I mean, Ren, I'm assuming you watched the last year of Wolves basketball.
Ren has.
Like,
He's a fan.
he's a regular. He's
Yep.
watched every minute. He's a super fan. I love people like you. But I mean, I can't remember what Grady and Jim Pete said, but I think it was like we had like 46 super close games. And at the end of last season, it was like they won like 20 out of 25. I can't remember the stat. I knew I should have written it down, but it's like I that's why I wasn't worried at all. I was like sitting there, I'm like, hey, until 5 minutes are left, I don't need to sweat anything. No fans need to worry. The Wolves just turn it on at the end when it matters. Like, who cares who starts the game, who finishes it? So I just feel like this is this team. And I feel like they're capable of closing out close games and being down the whole game until like the last couple minutes.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign. Like, I'll just be honest. Like, I thought Ant was sensational. I thought Jaden was really good, other than those two turnovers. Like, his defense tonight was insane. His ability to get back, help block, like, he was just awesome. And Julius had a really good game. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of times where I was like, big exhale, Julius just threw the ball into the third row. And outside of those three, everything kind of went off the rails. Like, TJ had a really good game, but he also struggled quite a bit at times, especially on defense.
Mhm.
We didn't see Rob. Mike got 12 minutes. Dante got benched. Rudy, up until the putback dunk off of one of those TJ eye roll moments, Rudy had a bad game. So
Mhm.
you look at this and, like, the big three, quote unquote, if we're going to throw Jaden in there instead of Rudy, they
Mhm.
carried him to a win. And there's going to be games like this where you just need your three best players to play like the best players on the court and
Mhm.
grit out a home opening win in Portland. I think it's a really good sign.
Yeah.
I think there are things we should be concerned about. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, the season's over, like they can't win a championship. Nothing like that. Like, people who follow my work know that I'm very slow to making decisions like that. But, like, the point guard issue is an issue. Like, if Mike is just at a
Mhm.
different stage of his career, this is going to be tough. If Rudy isn't able to kind of, I'll just put it bluntly, if Rudy can't catch the ball consistently, it's going to be tough, because they were really trying to get him involved early. He
Mhm.
dropped a couple passes and they went away from that real quick, and they need Rudy to be good. There are things that I think fans can rightfully be a little anxious about, but overall, I thought this was a
Mhm.
phenomenal win.
I think Rudy's also had that problem in the past, and like then he has absolutely phenomenal games. I would say the thing I am worried the most about is the point guard position. And like, have you heard anything like have because you're at everything? Like, has there any talk of load management or any kind of injury or anything like that with Mike?
No, and it's really interesting because the whole preseason,
Mhm.
they were really making it a point to talk about how important and impactful Mike is going to be, especially running fast breaks, making sure Mike's the outlet on defense, making sure Mike's like slipping screens and kind of the head of everything. Like, they
Mhm.
were kind of like, without like actually saying like Mike's going to be the third most important player on this team.
Mhm.
The last practice before they flew out to Portland, Dane Moore, who was on the last episode of this, if people want a season preview with Dane, you know, Dane asked, like, how is Mike different this year as opposed to last year? And Chris said that he's had a tough camp. Like, anytime he starts to get momentum, he comes up with some, like an injury or a bump or a bruise. And after that, like, we kind of all looked at each other, was like, is Mike hurt? And then Dane asked Rudy the same question, and Rudy gave almost the exact same answer. So we all kind of looked at each other again like, what's going on with Mike? But nothing that would have told us like he's getting benched or that he would get 12 minutes. So I'll say my hope is that they knew this was going to be a bad matchup for Mike because of the physicality, because of Mike's age, and they want him to be healthy, that they, the Wolves kind of strategically said, Mike, you're only getting X amount of minutes. We want to save you for better matchups in the playoffs. My fear, though, is that this is what happens when you have a 38-year-old point guard that's undersized. It ends quick. It's over. That's how it is with a lot of these guys. So, only time will tell. I think we'll figure out pretty quick if there's something going on, or if there is it was a weird game for him.
Yep. It was. And I will say though, I obviously when we're watching on TV, we don't get to watch the sidelines. I know you and I are big body language people. We watch the away bench, we watch our bench, we see them cheer each other on. Like one of the guys mentioned, Nas's body language, which I think was more frustration with himself, not like with playing time. But I will say, like, Mike was, and Dante even being taken out and not doing that great his first, point guard start. Like he was, doing the ice in the veins. He was doing everything. He was so pumped up on the side, which is exactly what a team does. Like if you're not having a great game, you're so excited. They're still going to win. And that's the most important thing.
I mean, Mike wants this championship bad. Like he is going to be the best bench player that has ever existed. If he is getting DNPs, he is going to be the best DMP guy. He's going to give Joe a run for his money for best not playing Timberwolves player. Like Mike is going to do anything he can. Ren, I'm going to close with this question here. Nadine, I'll throw it to you first. What's one thing that the Wolves should carry forward from this win, and what's one thing that they should fix or try to get fixed?
I feel like that my favorite thing was the young guys stepping up and showing their speed and athleticism. And even like, I think it was TJ that like his first shot was just a bad choice. And then it's like, boom, he's like hitting him. Like, so, I love that. I love the fact that the confidence is not gone after you just do something or do a boneheaded play. I love that. So I think that the young Wolves are always kind of like that silver lining to me and like what I'm excited about. And I mean, fixed before the next opponent, I think it's a big ask to have the point guard position fixed. But hopefully they either Dante gets more comfortable, either Mike gets more minute, or, if Rob, it's a better matchup, something like that. But I just don't know if like anything can get fixed in a couple days,
Yeah. I'm gonna just say the one thing I would take from this game is this is playoff Jaden. Like he was hitting threes that looked confident. He was driving it to the range, driving it to the lane, looked confident. When they pressed him full court, he was able to break it. Like keep giving Jaden the ball. Now what to fix? I kind of agree with you. They're not going to fix the turnover problem. It's not realistic that they're going to be able to figure that out in the next like day or so. But whether it's who's bringing the ball up, whether it's figuring out like a hierarchy of like breaking full court presses. Thankfully, they play the Lakers next, and I doubt the Lakers are going to be playing a ton of just high energy basketball, but like come up with some sort of plan B for bringing the ball up. Cause I think Dante showed today that it's going to be a tough ask for him to bring the ball up, and it's going to be a tough ask for him to be like a primary ball handler. Nadine, thank you so much for coming on the debut of the Wolves side of the Missing Pods here. We had over 600 people swing through the live, so all of you guys are absolutely insane for coming through a live stream at 12:30 Central on a weekday.
Late night
people. But we appreciate everybody. Before I give you the floor, though, Nadine, I do want to say Charlie Walton from ZoneCoverage is going to be the post-game guest after the Lakers game, so we will be doing the same thing. shortly after the game goes final, we'll be on talking the game over for 30, 40 minutes or so. But Nadine, no matter who my guest is, whether it's Dane Moore or whether it's someone that no one's ever heard of, or whether it's Nadine, the GopherHole owner, co-owner, guru, whatever, the GopherHole, my boss at GopherHole, whether it's even you, the floor is yours. Anything you want to plug, anything you want to promote, causes that you're passionate about, donate blood, whatever you want to say, it is your floor.
Oh, I love that. He didn't tell me that I was going to have this. One, thank you for having me and all of you that listened. Two, I want you to ask Charlie how he does graphics and all that stuff so fast, because he's young and his mind's sharp. And so I would love to know that about Charlie. And as far as things to promote, we're going to be covering the Gophers basketball game. It's an exhibition game Saturday. And then also the Iowa game, gopherhole.com. And then we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, everywhere. The causes would be, you've come to a fundraiser, Leukemia Lymphoma Society, but I would say right now, I just made a decision today that, like, instead of giving any Christmas gifts, I wanted to do a donation to like Second Harvest in people's names. So like, just kind of think about that this holiday season, especially if you're as fortunate as we are that are fed and have a roof over our heads. Second Harvest really stretches your dollar, and they feed a lot of people. And I think there's going to be more and more need with everything going on.
I mean, very good cause to go to. Feed My Starving Children for people in Minnesota that are listening as well. Awesome organization. I'll shout them out as well. If you came into this late, this will be published tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Central, anywhere you listen to podcasts. And the second I hit end stream, it'll live on in infamy or fame over on YouTube and here on X. Nadine, again, thank you so much. And we will catch everybody else Friday after the Lakers game.
Great. Thank you.